Hello and welcome to this PSN Speak series, another episode. And in this PSN Speak series, we have been talking about special needs planning, important elements which cover special needs planning, uh, why they are important, and how families should address planning for their special need child future along with their family future. Now, when we talk about special needs planning, a lot of issues come up, lot of ideas, lot of thoughts goes in any parent's mind about the child future, about their own future. So how things are going to happen, who will take care of the child after the parents, and like this there are a lot of thoughts which go around, which revolve around the special need child affairs. Now, to address all of them, it's quite a daunting task. It's not a one day affair, it's a lifelong affair. And to address special needs planning in that, uh, one element is always going to be a difficult task for the families. So, what we have done is in our PSN Speak series, we bring up certain issues, certain topics which are important elements for the families, which are important for the families to address special need child future. In the past, we have addressed on estate planning, we have looked at insurance, we have looked at investment, we have looked at other aspects, the life stages of a special need child. So like this, there are elements which have to be addressed, there are issues which needs to be addressed at the right time, and the concerns which revolves around special need child family. So these concerns are the one which we are trying to address in this series. Now, today, in this PSN Speak series, I'm going to talk about life planning, a life plan. Now, what is a life plan? As I was saying, when a special need child family is planning for the future, there are a lot of thoughts which go around their mind. There are a lot of issues which certain come up. There are for non-financial issues, there are financial issues, there are legal issues, there are so many others also which comes up in the mind, which will always make the task of planning difficult for the families. Why? Because most of these would be an area where they won't have a knowledge. Most of these might be an area where they don't get an expert, they don't get a right advice, and so most of these elements or most of the issues take a backseat, and the planning is not done at the right time. Now, considering in a traditional planning, when we talk about, so we always say you have to plan ahead. You have to plan at the right time to ensure that you have the right amount of money. You are prepared for the emergencies. You are prepared for the eventualities, and lot many issues which comes up. You are able to address at the right time, and you are able to uh, uh, go along, make all those changes, accommodate all those changes. Now, the same applies for special need children families, but I would say it is much more important for special needs children families that they plan much early in life. Why? Because their planning requires their requirements is more than a traditional planning. So when we compare a traditional planning with a special needs planning, the traditional planning is already there. The goals, buying a house, buying a car, or if there is a sibling, his education, his marriage, so all those goals are their own retirement, these goals are there, but special need child future is adding to all these goals. So it becomes planning for two generations, and when you have planning for two generations, uh, the life the planning is always going to be tough. Now, so what is the solution? Now, in general, there is a financial plan. So you can create a financial plan which will cater to the financial aspects. You can create a legal plan which will cater to the legal aspects. But as I said, there are a lot many other elements to be covered. There are lot so many issues which comes up which needs to be addressed. Now, how to bring all this into a comprehensive plan? Can you prepare a holistic plan which can address all the issues, which can help you prepare for the future, which can help you answer uh, queries of most of the concerns which is revolving around your special child future? Now that's where a life plan helps. So a life plan, now its the name is life plan. It's all about life. You are preparing for life. As I said, you are preparing for life of two generations, your own and your special needs child. So when you prepare for life, then it's not only about numbers. It's not only about those legal aspects. There are much more to it. And when you have a special need child to be cared, then you have lot many other elements also to be addressed. So how do you create a life plan? What all elements do you cover? What all issues, concern do you address when you are creating a life plan? Now, for families, we at Plan Special Needs have designed a PSN life plan system, which basically caters to creating a holistic life plan rather than just limiting it to, financial numbers or advising them just on legal aspects. So, a life plan, a holistic life plan, will have lot more elements to be covered, and I'm going to take you through these elements of life plan, which will help you understand that what a life plan is all about. It is not only just about the financial numbers. So and I'm going to speak on the PSN life plan system because that's what we thought are the issues, the concerns, uh, the need, the requirement of special children families, which should be addressed in a holistic life plan. So a life plan uh, for a special need child family will have largely six elements to be covered. Now, what are those six elements and what do you address? The first element or the first aspect to be covered is a life care plan. Now, what is a life care plan? It's mainly about the personal affairs, the personal affair of your special need child. So, knowing about his requirement, his daily life, how it is going to be, what are going to be the future requirements, how his life is going to change, how his needs are going to change, how your child behavior is going to change. So knowing much about your special need child life. So when you prepare this element, a life care plan, you actually know more about your special need child future. So in a life care plan, as one of the elements of your holistic life plan, you are actually knowing more about your special need child, knowing about your preparedness, how much do you know about your special need child, how much do you know about his future requirements which are going to come up, and penning down into a paper, penning down into a plan to ensure that not only you, others are also able to know that what is there in a life care plan. So a life care plan is more on the special need child personal affairs. Also, one of the elements of special of your life care plan is life stages. Understanding this special need child life stages. Now, we at Plan Special Needs have always been vocal about understanding this life stages of your child, how this life of your special need child is going to go through in the future, how it is going to shape up in the future. Now, when we talk about life stages, so you we can bring it down into five. One is the minority. So what's going to happen during the minority of your child? So what are his requirements? How things are going to change? How his behavior is going to change? What all will be required? So that's minority of stage of your child. The second stage is from minority to an adult. So adult stage, when the child moves in, what environment he's going to live. Is he going to live in your house environment, or is he going to move into an external environment? So they in adult phase itself, there are going to be two life stages: one in house environment, the second an external living environment. Then the third or the fourth life stage, you can look at the death of the first parent. When it is going to happen, how do you look at, uh, we cannot foresee, but what all issues you are going to address at that stage. So like the adaptability of the child. The second parent will have to oversee all the affairs, be it personal, be it financial, be it legal. Then another life stage comes in when the second parent is also not no more. So then the life of your child moves completely to an external environment. So whether he lives in a residential care or whether he lives in your own house, the financial will move completely to somebody else. Maybe it's an entity like trust, or you're the legal guardian. And then the end of the child lifetime. So 4 or 5 stages of your life, understanding them. And when you understand the life stages, you actually know what all issues are going to come up, or what all concerns you will have to address at each of these life stages. And most of these you have to prepare today. So that's the first element, the life care plan, the understanding about your child life stages, knowing about your child personal affairs. Most important, knowing about your preparedness for them. The second element of your life plan is transition planning. Now, what is transition planning? Along with your child, you are going to see through quite a few transition phases. Child moving minority to an adult, you are moving from one city to another city. Then the home environment to an external environment. So, like this, there are going to be transition stages. Moving from one country to another country, maybe you are staying abroad, coming back to India, or otherwise. So like this, there are going to be transition stages. So understanding all these transition stages and be prepared for them today. Now, why you need to understand these transition stages? Because take an example that moving from one city to another city. So and now which city to which city you are moving will make a lot of difference. If you are moving from a smaller city to maybe a metro, suddenly your financials are going to go up. You will have a lot of access to good services, but again your financials are going to go up, your expenses are going to go up. Now look at from metro to a smaller city, so the services would be different. So there are transition phases in your life, and that's why transition planning is so important. A transition planning helps you understand that if what all transition phases you foresee, and what all issues you will have to address, what all questions you have to answer to sail through that transition phase. So that's the second element of your life plan. Now, the third element is the special needs plan, or I would say special needs financial plan. Now, it's all about finances. Now, when we are talking about finances, how you're managing the expenses of your child, what all financial goals you have, how you're going to meet these goals. Are you able to meet these goals with your existing resources? If not, what changes you need to do? Identifying your child requirement, that's the most important element. Much like you identify your own retirement purpose, so how much money you will require for your child lifetime care, because that's the money which will be available to the people after you, and from where the finances would be met. So all these identification happens in a special need financial plan. And a special need financial plan is not about your child, it's also about you. You also have to meet your own expenses in your retirement years. Now look at retirement, it's not only about you, it's about you and your child. So there are two purposes you need to address or you need to prepare for. One is for the child and one is for yourself. So your requirement increases. So your retirement corpus is going to be much higher than a traditional planning. And that's why I say plan much early in life, because you might not have enough resources. So what if you do not have resources? Can you still make the provision? So how much amount of insurance you should buy? What all insurances you should have? All these are elements of special needs financial plan. So that's the third element. The fourth element is the legal plan. Now, what is a legal plan? It's a legal framework which ensures the secure future of your special needs child, where he's going to live, the residential living, identifying it, making provision for it, how your assets or the legacy you leave behind for your child, who is going to manage it, in what manner, how the expenses of your child are going to be met in the future with that corpus. Now, that's important. Can you prepare a legal framework in which the continuity of your child care can be addressed? So all these questions are addressed in your legal plan. A legal plan is knowing about that legal framework and preparing those documents. Who is going to be the legal guardian? So preparing for the next legal guardian, identifying, pen down the legal guardian, take the legal guardianship once the child is turn 18 years of age. Uh, Identify your next guardian, write down your will to ensure that the money you leave behind for your child is actually utilized for him or her. Forming a private trust, if you understand it, if you are sure that you want a legal entity which will who can manage your child financial affairs, and identifying the residential living where he is going to live. So that's the legal plan. Also, most important, what if you are incapacitated? Then who is going to manage the finances? Who will take the legal guardianship? So all those issues have a legal requirement. These are issues where complication does come in, and you have to address legally. So a legal plan help you identifying what all issues which will come up, which you have to address, and preparing the right framework for it. So that's the fourth element. The fifth element is the benefit plan. Now, what's a benefit plan? A benefit plan will identify the benefits your child is going to receive now and in the future. Now, what are the benefits which your child can receive? It can be some government benefit, it can be a monetary benefit, a non-monetary benefit. It can be a gift, inheritance which your child is going to receive in the future, or any benefit which your child will receive, which will help you in managing your child affairs. So that's a benefit plan. And why we have kept it as separate? Because it's important for families to identify and understand what all benefits your child is going to receive. That helps you in channelizing your own resources in the best possible way. So identifying benefits, and it can be from your employment also. So identifying all those benefits your child will receive directly after both the parents. So that's the fifth element. The last and the sixth element is the communication plan. Everything is done, everything is prepared. You have prepared all the elements, you've prepared all the plan. But if it is not communicated to the people who are going to take care of your child after you, then your plan is still incomplete. And that's where communication plan helps. So preparing a letter of intent, preparing your own vision document. Why a vision document is important? Because you have in your mind, this is how my child should be taken care. Now that remains in your mind. People who are going to take care of your child are not able to understand what you wanted, so they are not able to implement. And that's why communication plan is important, that whoever are going to be the stakeholders in your child life, they all know what do you wanted from them, how do you wanted your child to be cared, what was your vision. And that's why it's important that you have a communication plan, and its communication plan rests around generally two documents. One is the vision plan, one is the letter of intent. And when you share these two documents with stakeholders, then they have a more clarity, they have a more awareness also. A letter of intent is such a beautiful document that it helps people make more aware about your special need child requirement. So that's the sixth element. So there are six elements primarily in a life plan. The first is a life care plan, which is more about your preparedness. understanding your child life stages. The second is the transition plan. The transition plan is understanding the transition phases, what all issues are going to come up and how do you address it, what all questions you need to answer. So that's a transition planning. The third is the special needs financial plan, understanding the numbers, understanding what all resources you have, how you can bridge that gap which is there to meet your child financial requirement. So that's a special need financial plan. The fourth is the legal plan. The legal plan is mainly the framework which will ensure the lifelong care of your special need child, the continuity of your special need child care, and a legal framework. So whether it's a private trust, a will, legal guardianship, or an ecosystem you create for your child affairs. The fifth is the benefit plan. What all benefit is your child is going to receive from all the resources? It can be from the government, it can be from family members, it can be from you. So what all benefit your child is going to receive? So how much do you know? Are you able to identify these separately? And the last element is the communication plan. Make everything beautifully, but communicate it also to the right stakeholders. So these are the six elements, and when you work around the six elements, you are able to create a holistic life plan for your special need child. And it's not also about your special need child, about yourself also, about your own care also, when you reach an old age where you will also require a support, to who can take care of you, maybe personally or financially, or both affairs. So a life plan, creating a life plan is important. And how do you create a life plan? I have taken you through the six elements. Work on all these six elements. If you need assistance, then we have already designed a life plan system. We have already designed the questionnaires for you. We have already created this life plan for the families, and they have a peace of mind that they are well prepared for the future with their special needs child. Not, and it's not, as I said, it's not only about the special need child, it's about the entire family. So you as a family, you will have a peace of mind when you are well prepared, when you have documented everything, when you have made provision for everything, and when you have made provision for your special need child affairs. Though, as I always say to families, at what life stage you begin, it's going to be important. But as you come to know that this is what you have to do, if you come to know today, then you should create a life plan today. So creating a life plan is important. If you have created some of these elements, you can always work toward financial and legal plan. So this is how you create a life plan. This is what you address when you are creating a life plan for your special need child future. So that's all about life planning in this PSN Speak series. In the next PSN Speak series, I'm going to talk about single parents. I'm going to talk about how single parents who have got a special need child, how they can prepare for their future, how they can prepare for their special need child future, and how also they can take care of themselves. They can prepare for their own future also, uh, being a single parent managing a special need child affairs. So bye for now. See you in the next PSN Speak series next Saturday at 4 p.m., where I'm to talk about single parents and some important tips or elements which they should cover, how they can plan for their future. Thank you, and see you in our next PSN Speak series.